It's for the lead of the Grand Prix, and they still can't resolve it.
Webber and Vettel have come together. That's Vettel going out, Webber going out.
And Fielder fights and retakes the lead. Fantastic!
Oscar Piastri trying to become the first Australian driver to win the Australian Grand Prix, and he'll have to get past his teammate. It's a 10th career pole position for Lando Norris. Off go the McLarens! First of all Lando Norris, then Oscar Piastri. Is that the moment that home victory dreams are dashed for Oscar Piastri? Norris weathers the storm. Lando Norris wins the Australian Grand Prix. Norris, our opening winner of the year. They've been saying all the way through the season, at some point it's going to get close. The top two in the World Championship side by side, heading into the final chicane. Piastri and Norris separated by nothing to 200 miles per hour. Norris inching clear, late on the brakes for Piastri. Does he make the corner? He does, but he's compromised and Norris can't fight his way by. We go to turn one. No, he's ripped off the front wing. The McLarens collide. Lando Norris into the wall and out of the race.
Are you alright, dude?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's all my bad. All my fault. Unlucky. Sorry. Stupid for me.
Lando Norris checking the left-hand mirror because Oscar Piastri will not give him an inch. The two McLarens are side by side again. Piastri started in third, takes the lead on lap 11, and they were millimetres away from contact. They're still side by side, like they were in Canada, this time in Austria. It's for the lead of the Grand Prix, and they still can't resolve it. Lando hangs on. The resistance is complete. Lando Norris wins the Austrian Grand Prix in a massive result for the World Championship. It's not the launch that Max Verstappen was looking for. Oscar Piastri playing it safe. Lando Norris has got himself up to fourth position. He's side by side with his teammate, and Oscar Piastri is millimetres away from the wall as Lando Norris gets by in a crucial move for the World Championship.
I wasn't very team-like, but sure.
McLaren will retain their crown. They are the Constructors' Champions of 2025. Lando Norris dropping down to third position at the moment. He'll be late on the brakes. Piastri's going to be hit by Hulkenberg, and the McLarens make contact as well.
There is a degree of responsibility from my side in the sprint, and we're starting this weekend with a clean slate for both of us.
In the wall and out of the race, Piastri in the barriers, and one of the contenders for the title is out. And after 24 rounds, Lando Norris is the Formula One World Champion.
You made a kid's dream come true. Thanks so much.
It's the promised land for Lando.
McLaren drivers Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost were still expected to dominate. At this stage, they were still speaking to one another.
Green, they're away for 55 laps, and Alain Prost made by far the best start that time. Alain Prost straight into the lead. Ayrton Senna in second place. Riccardo Patrese third. Fourth is Alessandro Nannini. Fifth is the Ferrari of Nigel Mansell. Ayrton Senna tucked right in behind Alain Prost. He pulls out of Prost's slipstream, goes through and straight into the lead, and on pit straight, and coming up for the checkered flag to win the San Marino Grand Prix. Victory for Ayrton Senna.
This was the real start of the enmity between the two McLaren drivers, for Prost said it violated an agreement made between them.
The two leaders going through, Senna and Prost. Prost now right up with his teammates. Has Prost caught Senna, or has Senna slowed a bit? Is Senna in trouble? Who can tell? But Senna and Prost now nose to tail. Checkered flag for Ayrton Senna. In second place is Alain Prost. The two of them a lap ahead. A delighted Ayrton Senna. Absolutely no problems whatsoever for the Frenchman on his way to this historic win, and through that right-hander up to the checkered flag. A popular win for Alain Prost.
So Senna takes up pole position for the umpteenth time, but this is a race, of course, that he absolutely has to win to keep the championship alive.
So there is Prost leading the World Championship, second on the grid, and they get away very quickly indeed, extremely quickly, and a beautiful start by Alain Prost, who goes into the lead with Berger coming up behind Senna. So it is Prost leading, Senna second, Berger in third position.
Senna threatening a little bit, but remember, this is a narrow track. The cars are fairly equally matched on power.
The situation of being in the lead with the second place man treading on his rear wheels almost, and having to resist that pressure, keep his racing line, not go wide, not leave an opportunity and a door open through which Senna would be like a flash. Now, there are very few cars left on the circuit. There's 14 running now out of the 26 who started, and if Prost comes up to any of them, this is the opportunity that Senna's looking for, and he's going through. Ouch! Oh my goodness, this is fantastic! They meet. This is what we were fearing might happen during the race.
He wasn't past Prost, and he went into a gap, and Prost had every right to turn into him there. And I'm afraid that was self-inflicted. Senna has got going again. He's back on the track, but he will for sure be disqualified for receiving a push start.
Alain Prost could now not be beaten and could celebrate his third World Championship title. Meanwhile, Ayrton Senna sat quietly in a corner and pondered his fate.
It's the 2016 Formula One World Championship. Who can stop Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg? And it's lights out and away we go. It was a super start from Nico Rosberg. Hamilton's got going as well, moves over to try and cut off his teammate, who now slips behind him a toe. Round the outside goes Nico Rosberg into turn one, ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And it's Nico Rosberg, and Hamilton's onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate. The two Mercedes come together as Hamilton tried to pass on the inside, and he can cover his hands over his eyes, and he won't want to see that again.
It was in the incorrect engine setting, so I was down in power. So Lewis closed in, and I saw him coming, so I closed the door, to defend my position, because that was my race to win.
I was gaining on him by 17 k's an hour. There was a smaller gap on the left than it was the right, so I went for the right one. So,
and then next thing is, him spinning on the grass and taking me out, and we ended up in the gravel trap.
Look at this is close. Hamilton got a fantastic drive out of turn one.
So here he goes then. Is this hammer time? Lewis Hamilton wheel to wheel with Nico Rosberg in towards turn two. His teammate's got the inside line. They've touched again. Hamilton runs wide, and is he going to come onto the track and touch his teammate? He's now got damage, Nico Rosberg, to his front wing, and Lewis Hamilton does manage to overtake his teammate. Hamilton wins out. Hamilton takes the Austrian Grand Prix, and limping home, the championship leader in fourth place minus a front wing is Nico Rosberg. And if you thought that Grand Prix was epic, anyone who's selling tickets for the Mercedes debrief today, I'll buy two for the front row.
My brakes were on the edge, just getting too hot, and they went into passive mode, so the pedal changed quite a lot on that last lap, so that makes it a lot more difficult.
So it is time, and the third time here in Abu Dhabi, for the duel in the desert, the title showdown at the final race of the season.
The thing is that we still have, of course, from back in those days, is the base respect, and that will never go, and that's definitely helped us through these years.
that's my sole goal this weekend, is obviously to win the race. Nico's been really quick here the last couple of years, so it's something that it will be a challenge for sure, but one I'm certain that I can face head on and do well.
It's lights out and away we go. Both Rosberg and Hamilton get away well, as does Kimi Räikkönen as well, and Räikkönen takes third place. Hamilton goes into the first turn in the lead from Rosberg.
Even if Rosberg is fourth, Hamilton still needs to win the Grand Prix to win the championship.
Absolutely.
So, presumably if he needs to put a spurt on, he will. And Rosberg a little bit wide through 11 there as well. That's put the Ferrari right on his tail. Nowhere to overtake again until turn 8, unless he has some kind of banzai into the chicane of turns 5 and 6.
34 years after his father Keke became world champion, is about to see the checkered flag and the podium finish that he needed. Lewis Hamilton wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg is second. He takes the championship 34 years after his father. It's like father, it's like son for the Rosbergs.
Thank you so much, guys. That's a childhood dream come true. Thank you so much.
Yeah, very, very proud, of course, to have done the same feat as my dad achieved. He's going to be coming in like half an hour, I think, so
be exciting to see him.
And a big congratulations to Nico, of course, his first World Championship. Good job, man.
That was a long hold, and again it's a good start from Villeneuve. Is he going to out-drag Damon Hill? Yes.
We can see Hill comes out of the pit lane, Villeneuve comes up. It's going to be very, very close into the first corner.
And that Damon Hill takes the lead and stays ahead of Jacques Villeneuve. Well, you can't be much closer than that. And Villeneuve realises that now he's got to go for it, because Damon Hill's tyres are not as warm as Villeneuve's are. There's not a lot of difference in it, and Villeneuve fights and retakes the lead. Fantastic! And off goes Villeneuve, and he gets on the course back in front of Hill, and he manages to block his teammate, because that was Damon's opportunity. He wasn't able to take it, but now Hill can push very hard indeed, and he's trying to take him on the outside. He nearly goes off on the inside of the corner. What a sensational scrap! And Damon Hill senses his opportunity and goes for it, and Villeneuve cuts him off. Hill goes again. And this is it. They're showing the slow board to Villeneuve. Is he going to ignore it? Is he going to be a good team man and obey it?
Now this is the crucial bit. No, he lets him through. Surely, yes. Jacques Villeneuve lets Damon Hill through. He concedes the lead. He knows that he's got a problem with the car.
Well, for sure it's disappointing to lead most of the race and then having to slow down. But the whole race itself was fun. It was a great battle with Damon.
Jack shows today that he's a racer. And we had a good race, and I think the crowd sort of, got something from that. We stuck close together, and it was a thriller, I think.
As soon as the Grand Prix was underway, Hill moved across in front of Alesi to shadow the charge from the French Sicilian and led going into the first corner. Villeneuve closed on Alesi in the Benetton. Uncharacteristically for Alesi, he moved across and allowed the Williams Renault through without a fight. Hill came through for a fine victory, his 6th in 9 races. Another 10 points in the bag on the way to the 1996 Drivers' Championship. On the final lap, Hill was running out of time and desperately had to make something happen. It didn't work out for him. Villeneuve coolly and confidently kept the lead and swept into sight of the checkered flag. Villeneuve's 3rd victory of the season presented the Constructors' Championship to Williams for the 8th time, equaling Ferrari's record. Villeneuve, the fastest man on the circuit, 1:44.043, but his car was becoming more difficult to handle, and eventually he went out when a rear wheel sheared off and left him stranded in the sand and gravel at the side of the circuit. That meant that Hill was now world champion.
When you've won the championship and a Grand Prix all in one race, it's a hell of a thing, I tell you.
The checkered flag falls, and at last the reliability holds. Sebastian Vettel wins in 2010. Mark Webber comes through. It's a 1-2 for Red Bull.
Webber's left the door wide open.
Oh dear, they come together. Webber and Vettel have come together. That's Vettel going out, Webber going out. What was going on there? Through goes Jenson Button. Ahead goes Lewis Hamilton. The 2 Red Bulls connect. Out goes Sebastian Vettel.
Whose fault was that? They just seemed to merge towards each other, if anything, didn't they? A little Webber slightly left, Vettel slightly right. Sebastian Vettel went right into the side of Mark Webber.
Yeah, it's the first time in my career that we've had a problem with a teammate, but in terms of when so much was at stake. But anyway, hopefully we water under the bridge at the end of the year.
And Webber's wide.
Oh, Webber's spinning round. Webber could count a crash, and Webber has gone crashing into the wall. The championship leader is out of the race. Something's wrong. That's Vettel's problem. And here comes Alonso. This is crucial. Vettel's got a problem, and Alonso's through. Both Red Bulls look as if they're in the wars. He needed to win, and he has won. His title challenge is still on track. And Mark Webber comes through, very much in the hunt, and confirms that Red Bull have won championship. They are the Constructors' Champions for the first time. Now we have a stage to see whether Fernando Alonso or Mark Webber or Sebastian Vettel or even Lewis Hamilton will become the 2010 Drivers' Champion. As we leave the grid in Abu Dhabi, Vettel moves forward. Alonso comes through a button's got the jump. Alonso down into fourth. Hamilton goes close, but Vettel still leads.
Balance is good, I can go faster if you want.
No, you don't need to. Just protect the tyres if you need to. Just protect the tyres if you need to, that's all.
Through these final corners. He won here last year, remember. But that was only good enough to be runner-up in the championship. Well, they got the constructors in Brazil, and now Sebastian Vettel wins in Abu Dhabi to be drivers' champion for 2010. It's a double for Red Bull.
We know from 2008, don't count on it just yet until everybody goes over the line.
Hamilton, P2, Button, P3, Rosberg, P4, Kubica, P5, Du bist Weltmeister!
Thank you, boy. Unbelievable. Thank you, I love you. Yeah!
Welcome to Formula One 2007. The sport's biggest name, Fernando Alonso, is just 25 years old now, and Lewis Hamilton, who really has been the centre of attention all weekend. Nice start by both the McLarens. Hamilton's had some manners put on him by Kubica, but he comes round the outside. He's also gone round Alonso. Stunning start by Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton has crossed the line. There he is. A wonderful podium for the new rising star of British motorsport. So much to be proud of there. Fernando Alonso is going to give McLaren their first victory since the end of 2005. Fernando Alonso, to his extreme pleasure, wins, and Lewis Hamilton comes through in second place.
It's never easy, but to have my teammate second makes things easier for sure to open a gap.
Well, he's rewriting the book of what is possible in Formula One. Lewis Hamilton wins! Surely the first of many. The world is at his feet.
I've been ready for quite some time for the win. It was just a matter of when and where.
This could be the lead going for Hamilton. Alonso senses an opportunity. They are side by side down the pit straight in Indianapolis. The two teammates, you could put a cigarette paper between the wheels. Hamilton holds his nerve, but Alonso is on the warpath. Alonso appeared to indicate to the McLaren pit wall he was unhappy that he had not been allowed to get past Lewis Hamilton. McLaren's inter-team relations being stretched to the limit here.
Well, at the moment, Alonso having to wait again for the optimum moment to go out onto the racetrack. There's Lewis Hamilton queuing up behind him. Have they raised the lollipop to let Alonso out? No, Alonso's not getting on with it. Only a minute and 40 to go. Is he blocking Hamilton here? Is that a bit of a tactic within the team there to give Hamilton a bit of a headache? I think he deliberately did that.
We always stop, we wait for the countdown in the radio and we go. Sometimes it's 10 seconds, sometimes 45 seconds like the first stop of today, sometimes 10 or 15 like the second, but I think the calculation was wrong because my teammate didn't complete the lap and I crossed the line with 2 or 3 seconds, so it was really, really tight, and you know, these things unfortunately happened today to us.
Hamilton is chopped out by Alonso very wide as he go into La Source. Alonso didn't want anything from Hamilton there. Hamilton's pushed right off the grass. He's coming back on again, but Alonso, is he going to get side by side with him? Hamilton's going to keep his foot down here. Alonso will have to lift. Who's going to lift of the two McLaren drivers? Neither of them do. Hamilton eventually has to as Alonso goes through. That was pretty crude stuff between the two McLaren guys at the start line.
Spin, that's a McLaren in the wall.
And I believe this is Alonso. It is one of the two main championship contenders. Fernando Alonso has hit the wall.
Into the pits anyway comes Lewis Hamilton. He goes straight on into the gravel track. Can he keep the wheels spinning? Can he get some momentum going? No, he can't. It's all going to get away from him. He's not allowed to get a push. This is going to turn the World Championship on its head.
It all comes down to this. A season in one day. 3 men, a World Championship for one of them at the end of it all. Massa goes across, Hamilton covers, and Raikkonen looks like he's gone round the outside of him. Alonso side by side with Lewis Hamilton, and Alonso pushes his way past. That was a hesitant start by Lewis Hamilton, and the net result is that he's got 2 Ferraris and Alonso in front of him. Alonso tries to block, Hamilton looks desperate here.
Oh, Lewis is trying to fight Alonso and doesn't need to do that. He's gone way too deep in turn 4.
Is that Hamilton slowing? It is. The top of the screens. Lewis Hamilton's in trouble. What's happening? His car is grinding to a halt. Is this the end of the World Championship dream for Lewis Hamilton? Kimi Raikkonen wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. Alonso is going to come in third, and the dream is over for Lewis Hamilton.
You know, I'm still quite happy. You know, if you think about it, come from GP2. Who would have thought I would be ranked number 2 in my first year of Formula 1?
You know, a little bit sad now because I lost the championship, but nothing we can do.
Go! And a superb Piquet blasts away. Prost comes up right alongside Mansell, and Prost leads into Copse. Williams Hondas usually get away very quick, but already Prost has lost the lead. And it's Piquet leading. Mansell coming through to take second position away from Prost. Already the positions are changing, and Piquet is starting to pull away a little from Nigel Mansell.
And Mansell's through. And a tremendous driving by Nigel, but that really was a bad mistake by Piquet to go back to the other side of the track. He just opened the door again for Nigel Mansell. He really should have held the right-hand side of the track and made Nigel go around the outside. And so Nigel Mansell looks as if he's sewn up the British Grand Prix.
Out he goes. Mansell has won the British Grand Prix. Nelson Piquet finishes in second place. The British enthusiasm for Grand Prix racing has never shown more. Nigel is not going to be allowed to get back to his pit. Amazing.
For Piquet, this race was crucial. His third world title was tantalizingly close. For Mansell, it was do or die. To keep his title hopes alive, he simply had to win. But it was Friday practice that brought the shock of the weekend and spelled a premature end to the championship battle. Nigel Mansell was going for pole when, in the curves behind the pits, he lost his Williams Honda. The tremendous impact did the damage. Mansell was in agony in the cockpit. He released the wheel but couldn't get out. As Frank Williams waited anxiously for news in the pits, the marshals attended to Mansell, who was grimacing with pain. And in this thoroughly unsatisfactory and melancholy way, Nelson Piquet became champion.
I don't win today the championship, and I don't win because Nigel stopped. I win because I'm 12 points in the lead. It's still two races to go, and I win because I collect a lot of points this year. I was very consistent.
You know, every day it's been up and down. You know, one day it looks positive and we're going to be racing this year, and the next day it's not. So to finally arrive here with a car that we knew was competitive was a great feeling. But also to put it on pole now, you know, I'm sure the whole team have been very emotional.
Jenson Button crosses the line, takes the checkered flag. Brawn GP are winners on their first race appearance, and not only that, it's a 1-2 finish. Button from Barrichello. What a result, and history too. Winner in Melbourne, winner in Malaysia, winner in Bahrain, and he's done it again in Barcelona. Jenson Button, championship leader, increases his lead, and it's another win too for Brawn. What a start. And here he comes for another checkered flag. The winning streak continues, with Jenson Button winning 6 out of 7 races, and that championship is getting ever nearer.
The car was immense. I wish I could have had all the boys on the podium. I had Bono, one of my engineers, but they all deserve to be up there. They did a great job.
I told Ross that if something was done for Jenson at this race, I'm prepared to go back to Brazil and never come back. You're never going to see me anymore.
He was a winner for Ferrari. He's never done it for Brawn, but he has now. For the first time in 5 years, Rubens Barrichello is a winner in Formula 1. Barrichello scores a perfect 10 for the Brawn team. The flag falls. They have scored a 1-2 victory. What a way to come back. Red Bull in the wars, but Brawn on top of the podium. And Rubens Barrichello is firmly in the championship picture. This could be another special day at Interlagos. The title that seemed to be Jenson Button's for the taking still hangs in the balance, even though he could have been scripting his acceptance speech from mid-season, it seems. Barrichello looking to get in there and leads well. Barrichello has the crowd off their feet. Wonderful move by Button, he squeezed him there.
Brilliant driving from Button. Whoa, nice one. Button's done
Button's
it.
gone through. And now here comes Jenson Button, the 2009 World Champion.
We are world champions! World champions!
There's the victory salute, which means so much to him. And there's a generous sporting teammate as well.
To win the World Championship in 2009 is an exceptional feeling, one that I will never forget.